Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two dumb Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two dumb Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Howdy ho! Good morning, everybody. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is episode 782 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to Tortilla on the board. Great to see Tortilla bright and early on the show. Welcome back. Michael.
Yes.
What up?
Living the dream, brother. Living the dream. Vanilla Thunder and I, we're doing great over here.
Where does Vanilla Thunder go every day at the beginning of the show? The music starts and you disappear and the logo's up and I don't know where the hell you went.
We got some background work we got to do, brother, and I don't want me just staring up in the corner like this, clicking away. So you don't let people see the logo, brother.
Good morning to RB on the board. RB says, good morning, guys. You see the Rogers McAfee interview? Dude seems genuinely happy to be here. I would agree. Matter of fact, I feel every day a day of camp goes by, I feel a little bit more excited about this football season. Like I really do. The NFL season kind of sort of kicks off tonight with the NFL Hall of Fame game. This game is at 8 o'clock tonight between the Lions and the Chargers in Canton, Ohio. Finally, a little bit of football on our TV. I cannot wait, Mike, because once this game starts, that means we are it is rolling all the way until February sometime. So I'm all game. I'm ready for this game tonight. I want to sit back and I want to see some Chargers and Lions. I just want to see some NFL football. I want to see some backups. I want to see some guys that moved new faces in different places. A lot of things I'm going to be looking for tonight, Mike, as I sit down and watch my first NFL game of the season.
Yeah, I can't wait either. We got live football action. We got people hitting each other's in pads. That's what I can't wait to see.
And I got to be honest, I'm following all this stuff from camp like everybody else is, and it seems like it's a good time. As RB says on the board about Aaron and I'm taking a lot of positive away from everything I'm seeing. There's not much negative. And, it carried over into this morning, Mike. We got Isaac Siamalo back. He's back at practice today. Yeah. That's a big thing. You know what I mean? He's a big part of that offensive line. And, of course, we play in just 9 days. We go to Jacksonville to play our first preseason game against the Jaguars. So having Siamalo back out on the field, I think is a big thing. on top of, as RB was saying on the board, just the people are feeling bullish. They really are about this football team right now, Mike. Whether you're on the field, whether you're at camp, or whether you are not, just like us sitting back and keeping up on everything, I think everybody's feeling a little bullish on this football team, Mike. I'd say more than we were last year, and I think for a good reason. But I can't think of many reasons why I'm not excited about this football team. I can't find many reasons why I'm not excited about this football season. I just can't. Mike, we have 9 days. Again, we have football tonight. It's not the same as watching our Steelers on TV.
No.
It's football. It gets your palate wet. But at the end of the day, I can't wait to see my black. I can't wait to see my gold. I can't wait to see them down in Jacksonville, watching backups, watching new faces again, just seeing some things that maybe we might have been concerned about, and some things that we're excited about. So again, just 9 days away. 9 days away, guys, is the Jacksonville Jaguars preseason game. Camp is still underway, Mike. They started early today to avoid hot weather. As a matter of fact, they were out with pads because they were worried about, or not bad weather. I'm not sorry, not hot weather, but they were actually out without pads early. I don't know if that changed, but I know at some point this morning they did start without pads outside. So that was the scoop this morning. As I said, the big news, I think, this morning, though, was the return of Isaac Seumalo back out onto the field as the team takes an early practice to avoid inclement weather, guys. And I got to be honest with you, they're only how far north of us. They've been getting inclement weather constantly. Mike, we haven't had just as much as a raindrop here. And I got to be honest, I'm ready for a little rain. I'll take a little what they have, Mike, but back at camp today, early start. What do you think?
Early start. It's from what I'm reading on the internet machine here. It's getting chippy already. Juan Thornhill has been going at it with Jonnu Smith all day and just chirping back and forth. And then finally, Jonnu Smith made a play over Juan Thornhill. He throws the ball at him. A scrap ensues. The boys are fired up today.
I'm glad to hear that. It's good to hear.
Yeah, they are ready to go. Roman Wilson had like a big old catch over, I think it was Joey Porter Jr. that caused people to freak out, thought it was a great catch. So I'm looking for that footage to surface, but it seems like a good fiery camp all day today already. I love it.
I don't disagree with you. Let's get to the board early, Michael, because I don't want to miss anybody. I don't want to miss anything today. A lot of stuff to go over again as the Steelers at training camp early today. It was not their usual start as they started early to avoid inclement weather. And let's get on the board. Corey, my man, what's up, Corey? I was thinking about him yesterday. I thought, when he was telling us about his boss. Could you imagine if he would have put his boss on the phone with us?
Fuck yeah, let's go.
He would have got on the phone. He would have heard, "Yo, this is Vanilla Thunder." But I tell you what, you hand that over to us, Corey. Next time you have any problems with him, we'll have him asking you for orders. All right, that's the goal. That's the plan, buddy. I was thinking about you. Again, if all else fails, we'll stick Vanilla Thunder on him. And I don't know any bosses that could handle Vanilla Thunder.
They cannot handle the Thunder.
Corey says, "Hey, fellas, R. Barley. I saw Mike Tomlin seem genuinely excited for the time and first time in a long time as well. But the negativity surrounding our offense is annoying. Too much hype over camp." Corey follows it up by saying, "Before 2023, I didn't hear shit about camp, really. Now it's overly hype and nitpicked." RB says, "Also, I told you guys weeks ago they ran 13 plays out of 4 personnel, 4 tight ends, and no wide receivers with ton of pre-snap motions."
They ran that yesterday. They had Jonnu Smith lined up in the backfield.
Yeah,
they ran the ball out of that formation.
So, I mean, you have 34 tight ends. You might as well
got to find a way, brother.
And again, they're trying more tight ends. I don't know what they're thinking, but we have tight ends coming out of our assholes at this point. We have more young tight ends trying out. I did see. I didn't even take the names down, Mike, because I hope we don't pull in more tight ends, but that's what's going on right now. RB says, "Corey, you just must not have been in the right circles. Camp has been huge since 2000. Sorry." Corey follows that up by saying, "Yeah, I must not have been. LOL. I always relied on the NFL Network for Steelers news up until 2020. RB says, "I remember the massive buzz around Zamir Cobb and what helped would help me out, guys. 030405 range.
Somewhere in that range, yeah.
A way to help him out, Mike. Somewhere in that range.
I can't remember when Zamir called that.
It was somewhere earlier than now. I could tell you that.
Dude, hell yeah, bro. Sounds good to me, brother.
Also, RB does say I got a clip of Porter trying to jam DK, and DK absolutely bullying him off the bump and catching a 60-yard patch was beautiful. Tortilla said John was a lot faster than what I thought he was. I think we're going to like Johnu a lot. And apparently we had interest in him for quite some time. So we got our guy, and we had, if we had interest in him, then we had ideas for him. So hopefully, we could utilize that. And Mark Malone, my man, what's up, brother? He says, I like Galbraith. Yeah. There's a lot to like about what's going on at camp, everybody. There really is. I got a lot of information, all the scoop that we could get up to this point, guys. So just hang tight. We will get into all that today. Tortilla says you could say we have tight ends coming out of our tight end. Okay, I'll go wait in the car.
You got to go sit with Derpy after that one, brother.
Speaking of Derpy, Mike, I think Derpy's going to be on tomorrow because he's going to be heading out to camp on Saturday himself. So we're going to keep you posted on that, whether we go live with Derpy on Saturday or we just carry the tape over till Monday. One way or another, Derpy is going to camp tomorrow. Derpy goes to camp, Mike.
I'm interested to see what footage he provides. Good, the bad, the ugly. I want to see it all and share it with everyone. It's going to be glorious because you never know with Derpy. He can, I'll be nervous about him sometimes, and he pulls through in the clutch. Then I'm like, oh, hell yeah.
When you think he
got
something
awesome, when you think Derpy has something great, he totally surprises you and turns into Lima Swede when he's wide open. He drops the ball. Other times, he's like plexiglass covered by 12 guys and catching the ball. It's confusing with Derpy.
Real quick before we do get started, guys, I do want to talk about something on the important tip. Of course, the big earthquake, Mike, the other day that happened in Russia. 8.8 is causing all kind of ruckus over the Pacific Ocean. Get this, the Russian earthquake picked up by seismograph in Pittsburgh. That's right, here in Pittsburgh. Meteorologist Ray Peatland from the weather department says, I think it's, let me see. Observatory recorded that big Russian earthquake. It would take about 10 to 15 minutes to get to Pittsburgh from the epicenter. But, Mike, it was felt in small. It wasn't felt in capacity where anybody felt anything, but it was picked up on the seismograph, Mike. Yeah. So the big earthquake, the big 8.8 in Russia, was felt at least by the machines here in the Berg.
Yeah, down at the Carnegie Science Center.
So I just thought that was interesting. I did want to throw that out there because, again, kind of a big worldwide story. Yeah. And there is, just like everything else, always has some kind of Pittsburgh connection in the end, Mike.
I tell you what, today, anything that bad happens today on the show, I am blaming on the earthquake.
Also, you know what? I'll save this one for the end. Let's get into it. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Yeah, welcome back. Let's get into some Steeler talk, everybody. Again, a lot of optimism, Mike, going into continuing through camp. As I said, every day that goes by and every bit of scoop that I hear, I certainly get more excited and a little bit more confident in this team. And I think this team is it's unique in a way. It's built like other teams aren't built. Again, the Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that makes everything different. And a lot of concern coming in was, is this guy going to be a diva? Was he going to cause issues? Was there going to be problems? Was it going to be a media whirlwind around the guy? And I got to be honest with you, Mike, he and the team weathered the storm a lot better than I thought they did. Maybe after some of the experiences and adventures that we've been through with head cases on this team, maybe we're learning a little bit and handling things better, because I got to be honest, it doesn't seem like things could be any better at Pittsburgh training camp.
No, and now we saw the reports of how good the defense is looking, and looking like today too, like the offense is starting to pick it up just from the reports that I'm reading. So that's giving me a little more optimism by what we're seeing out there. Guys that are, like I said earlier, Roman Wilson had the first wow catch of camp, so that's good to see. Jonnu Smith is looking. Him and Aaron Rodgers are getting chemistry. DK and Aaron Rodgers are getting more chemistry on the field now too, that they're building it off the field as well. So I'm encouraged by what I see. This is what you want to see. I want to see, the defense came in hot. They're still playing good, and the offense is catching up to the defense. The defense was already playing at a pretty good level in camp. The offense can get up to that same level as the way the defense has. Hell yeah, we should be, as Fox Sports put us yesterday, inside the top 10 best teams in the NFL. So I'm liking what we're seeing. Fatanu had a good day yesterday too, from what I read, against TJ Watt. They were splitting
Are you
battles
just
back and forth.
are you literally just reading what RB wrote?
It was like I
Did
saw.
you just say? Did you just say I heard
No.
this from what I read as you're reading RB's?
I saw
comment?
Fatanu's name popped up there, and I want to get it. Then as I'm reading, I kept reading what he read. I'm like, God damn it!
Good morning, John. John says
So
everything
RB,
in the
you just
offseason
post
is
everything, brother. I'm
bipolar.
gonna
The
say I did
Steelers
it.
are either going to kick ass or tank. The reality train will arrive in Pittsburgh in September. I trust nothing I hear this time of year. I got to be honest. I do want to say good morning to you, John. Always great seeing John on the board. I for one, I am feeling a little bit more positive. And again, I think a lot of things are going together a lot more seamlessly than a lot of people expected and hoped, Mike. And I got to be honest with you, from top to bottom, and we'll get into a little bit into everything here as the show goes on. I have stuff from offense, defense, special teams, all the way down to will the fuck Myles Garrett's chance carry over into the regular season when Cleveland comes to town? Will the crowd at Acrisure Stadium begin to chant fuck Myles Garrett and also fuck Joe Burrow, who was also included in the chant yesterday at camp with the PMS show in town? A lot of exciting things happening, Mike, at camp. I got to be honest with you. Let me grab Corey here real quick. Corey, my man, says that, John, I like your method, especially since we only have a 2.8% chance of winning the Super Bowl. You know what? You know what slows our chances down on things, guys? It's our incapability of beating the elite teams. And if you ask what teams those are, it's the teams we lost to last year down the run, with the exception of the exception of the Bengals at the very end, guys. I'm talking Philadelphia's, Buffalo's, Kansas City's. So I mean, it doesn't matter if you could build the most perfect team ever. If you can't figure out a way to beat those teams, guys, it's just going to be the same old story for you. So again, building the team is great. Getting all this new talent, all these new faces, and again, these are some big names that Omar Khan was able to pull in, Mike. But these guys got to, on top of figuring out how to play well, you have 17 games. You got to figure out how to win the big ones for sure, Mike. You got to win the ones you're supposed to and win some of the ones that you're not supposed to. And as long as they could do that, I think they'll be fine, because if you could win Buffalo and then win the games you're supposed to win this season, win 4 out of 6 of your division games, things are looking pretty good for you. So again, figuring out how to beat those teams, Mike, is big. It goes a long way. Let me ask you this: say we're last season we were 10-3 at the 3/4 of the way mark, and say we're 10-3 this year. Let's just say, for example, of course,
Yeah.
and they beat Buffalo. And off the top of my head, I don't know where Buffalo sits on the schedule, but just for the sake of the conversation, we're 10-3 and we beat Buffalo. How you feeling at that point, looking forward to the playoffs, opposed to where we were last year when we stumbled into the playoffs and, of course, losing 27-14 to the Ravens in the first round? Mike, how would you feel at that point if we, in fact, beat Buffalo during the regular season and things are looking good for us? Do you then think that people start to change their tune? Do you think that 2.8 starts to change a little bit? At what point do you think that people are going to start taking the Steelers seriously?
If we have a really good record and we go in and we beat Buffalo, that should put the league on notice, especially if Buffalo will be playing the way that they are, and assume at that point we've already beaten Cincinnati and the Ravens that people think highly of. That would have to put the league on notice. Like, okay, the Steelers are for real. They're not just an AFC North contender. They can be an AFC contender, and they took off a presumptive Super Bowl favorite. Or someone who can make it to the Super Bowl. So yeah, at that point, you would have to feel good as a fan base, as a team, and then you would have to be taken seriously at that point. You're knocking out one of the teams that you haven't beaten in a significant game in a while. Yeah, we beat them the opener in Ben's last year, but that's the last time we beat a really good team outside of the Ravens. I don't count those games because those are still the Ravens games. Yeah. They're mostly decided by 3 points. So those games to me don't matter. We're built to beat each other, but beating a team outside of our division that is highly thought of, that would be huge. We go in there, we beat them. Fuck yeah, dude! You have to take this team seriously.
Absolutely, guys. Let's dip into some numbers, some things that's been going on at camp. Let me grab a couple messages here real quick. All right here. Let me go right here. John says, great chance for the kids that were listening. You know what? I heard the kids were chanting even louder than the adults were. Fuck Myles Garrett.
Like I've seen little kids at Steeler games. They frighten me.
I see kids around my neighborhood. That's why I don't ever leave my home, believe me.
I remember me as a little kid at that age.
Well,
we weren't angels.
Point taken, though. RB says, John, I think you're way off. I'm optimistic, but the chances of 9-8 is probably the highest. Richard, my man. What's up, Richard? Always great seeing you, sir. He says, good morning. I'm still feeling pretty good about the Steelers season. I'm still concerned about the offensive line. RB says, I am overly optimistic about this team, but reality says the best chance of getting done what we want to get done will come off as 9-8, 10-7, and the team is injury-free and finally fully gelled to as a unit. Corey says he's hearing they're trending toward 2.9% chance to make the Super Bowl. You got to like the big movement. Tortilla says, you guys see the Madden rookie ratings? I did. I have that in my notes, but I will read off of your messenger. Tortilla says, Harmon is a 77 on Madden. Caleb Johnson is a 75. Jack Sawyer, 75 or 72. I'm sorry. Will Howard is 64. And Cam Ward, the number one pick, is only a 71. So Harmon at 77, not sounding real bad. Again, if you are into Madden, which again, I was heavily into Madden most of my life until the past couple of years, but I really love playing Madden since back in 1990. Well, it was originally 90, then it skipped till 92, and then it went on from there. So the original days, I was definitely an OG. RB says early in the season we'll show some slow offense. Let's be real. Aaron isn't going to play in the preseason all of one, maybe two series. Johnson is a rookie. DK is new. It'll take time to gel. John says, guys, if I'm wrong, I will gladly admit it. That written, I could easily listen to our podcasts that are saying Super Bowl or others, and they say that the team won't win a playoff game. And good morning to Feel the Steel. Always great seeing Feel the Steel, especially this time of year. He really comes around, my man. He keeps things lit. I got to be honest with you, Feel the Steel. Welcome on the board. He says, good morning, Yinzers. When the Steelers get to the AFC game, then respect talk will start. Get to the AFC title games first. So, a lot of good points. I got to be honest. If you were being real, a lot of these comments make sense. If you're, feeling optimistic by what you're hearing and seeing, maybe that isn't quite the reality, but we don't know yet, and we will begin to find out more next Saturday as the Steelers travel down to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars in week 1 of the preseason for us. But again, if you're, and none of these answers are wrong. And you know what? That's why I love our board too, Mike. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times you read on social media or you watch these shows, they begin to tell you how stupid you are when you have a different opinion than who the host is. And there's nothing I hate more than that, because again, what makes you more of a fan than anybody else? And that's why I love our board, Mike. It's always so well rounded, and the attacks are at a minimal. Which again, if people go at it on the board, that's one thing. But on the other sense, Mike, people, especially on the radio here in town, and even on TV, you get snide looks you could see from the faces on the heads. Mike, they will begin to tell you how dumb you are and you don't know anything about football, and you aren't. What kind of football? How, Mike? Are you a football fan? You're not even a football fan. How do you? They'll begin to tell you how much you're not a football fan. So again,
you're not a real fan
you're not a real fan when again, guys, all these opinions are again at this point in the season, they're all as they could be as accurate as the next. We just don't know until the games are played. But I do welcome and condone, Mike. I condone the all the well-rounded opinions on the board, which I think, again, we have the most informed opinions that I see, at least in anything that I see or listen to. So
hell yeah, we do.
Kudos to you guys. Give yourselves a pat on the back.
Hell yeah, brothers.
Again, always making this show great, the board. Thank you, guys. Let's continue on. Mike, let's get into the 7 shots participation yesterday. 7 shots. I have some numbers from this. When Aaron Rodgers was in and when Rudolph was in with the first team defense, going against the first team defense, when Will Howard was in, and so on, Mike. This is our 7 shots Steelers camp. Practice 6 offense and 7 shots, obviously. Here we go.
Okay.
Mike, when Aaron Rodgers was in, Jaylen Warren scored a dive touchdown. On the second play, Mike, it was an all-out blitz that resulted in a Deshaun Elliott swat. Mike, there was a Stick Smith touchdown busted coverage. Why am I misreading? Why is that wrong? Why does that seem like it's written so weird to me?
That is written so weird that I can't even speak properly,
I mean,
bro. I don't even know what's.
Let's move on to Rudolph when he was going against first team defense, Mike.
Yeah.
There was a slant touchdown to Brandon Johnson versus Joey Porter. Caleb Johnson draw was stuffed by Joey Porter in the backfield. Also, Mike, in the 7 shots drill, Will Howard, he threw a touchdown as well, Mike. I seen that he's hitting. He seems to really like that Galbraith. It was just mentioned on the board recently. Yeah. He seems to be going him a lot. And then also, Mike, there was a play action cross Metcalf touchdown versus Slay. Again, all this stuff is really random and miscellaneous, but these are some of the things that are going down in camp in case you're wondering. But that was what happened, and the offense did win, Mike, 4-3 in the 7 shots.
Ooh, nice.
So if you gained all that out of what was said, I applaud you and great things. But again, the way that it's written, I feel like I'm reading Chinese here.
Yeah, I saw today though too, and Will Howard just connected with Rock Taylor for a big old 75-yard touchdown. So it's nice to see guys gaining chemistry.
Absolutely,
and that's like a lot of the stuff is too, like who like receivers and quarterbacks getting on the same page, getting in rhythm. So that's what I take away from some of that stuff. And I like to see the DBs in there breaking plays up too. That's encouraging.
Also, Mike, some more details, guys. Here we go. This was from the backers on backers drills yesterday. Linebackers and running backs, Mike. The big winners in those particular drills. Malik Harris over Caleb Johnson 3 times in that drill. Cole Holcomb over Trey Sermon 2 times in that drill. Peyton Wilson over Kenneth Gainwell 2 out of 3 times. Both the note is they both talked smack after Wilson won. He pointed. And then
told him to go back to the back of the line.
And he told him to get, that's right. Yeah, he told him to get to the back of the line. And then the other note, Mike, was Delvin Harper over Jalen Warren 2 times.
Ooh, like Jalen Warren losing. That's, that pissed Jalen Warren off because he loves the backer on backer drills. That's one of his favorite. And after that practice, if the running backs losing, Caleb Johnson and Jalen Warren stayed after practice working on blocking drills.
Well, I gotta also throw this in there that there was a lot of drills yesterday, 7-on-7, and others where a lot of linemen and all other people also participated, and Cam Hayward did not participate as he was on the far side of the field practicing by himself.
Hopefully that's nothing to be concerned about.
I'm not concerned about that.
Let the
at all.
They give the old man a break or what here? I'm concerned.
I'm not really concerned about Cam Hayward at this point, Mike. I think he'll be fine because if there was reason concern, I'm sure we would hear about it constantly on social media. But again, that was the backers on backers drill. Yes, Mike. And you did. They both talked smack after Wilson when he pointed Gainwell to the back of his line. Mike, I'm hearing Peyton Wilson's just he's a beast up there, man.
Yeah, that's what I was reading, not just from Twitter, but like other media outlets that came through and doing their reports. He's starting to get talked about of having a breakthrough season to where like he'll be getting more and more recognition throughout the NFL. I hope that's the case. I hope we found another gem for the linebacking core because we saw some good play last year, man. And that interception where he just ripped the ball out the running back's hand, thing of beauty. I have some pretty high expectations for Peyton Wilson this year. I think he's going to ball out.
I do too. What college did Peyton Wilson come from?
North Carolina or NC State. NC State.
Keep that in mind because it just might have something to do with our question of the day.
Ooh.
Hint. Let's get back on the board here, Mike. But so far, again, trying to keep up with the 7-on-7s, the backers on backers. We're going to do as best as we can. Very, very miscellaneous and random. However, I know everybody likes to keep up to the moment of what's going on at camp, and I don't blame them whatsoever. Let's get back to RB on the board where he says, did anybody see the Stains fan going insane? Shador was 2 for 3 with for 7 yards with the ones. They are ready to give him a gold jacket. Of course, the Browns, I'm assuming, and Shador Sanders.
Yep.
I didn't see that, but it don't surprise me at all.
Yeah, it was like mass cut-ups and edits of like those 3 plays. and they're like, "Here's our starting quarterback." I'm like, "Oh my god, this is what you guys are getting amped about." Whew.
Corey says all this talk 7-7 makes me want to try out for the team just to play against my favorite players. RB says Johnny ran a stick route and Wilson got picked by Muth. No one rotated is what happened. Okay, gotcha. Good morning to Donald Lurie on the board. Always great to see Donald. Welcome, Donald. He says
What
the
up?
Steelers started going to Latrobe for training camp in July of '66, the month and year I was born. That's pretty awesome.
Ace.
John says many have a burning desire to be right over admitting being wrong when the team does well. I'm not that kind of fan. I am just in the must see to believe mode. No more hoping or wish. I mean, that's common sense, right? I think that's a smart way of looking at it. That's being real.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
RB says, Corey, I'd tell you not, and you're nuts if not for the fact that I caught a 63-yarder on Bob Sanders in high school. Talk some shit. That was a mistake. I didn't get off the rest of the game. Kenneth, what's up, bro? Always great seeing Kenneth on the board. Good morning to you, sir.
What up, Kenneth?
RB says Malik Harrison whooped everybody. You know who else did, Mike? I also seen Mark Robinson.
Yeah, I was gonna say your boy was,
and you know I like Mark Robinson. I don't know if this guy's ever going to get a chance. As far as playing, he'll be a special teamer. But you know what? I feel upset about that because I would love to see him play somewhere where he could play because the guy is a hammer. I don't know if you've seen Mark Robinson hit, but this guy could hit, and he's showing it off again in training camp. He'll get to do it on the field and special teams, Mike. But it kind of, again, I would like to see him play more, even if it had to be somewhere else in the league. Mark Robinson, it was good to see him back at it yesterday.
Yeah, I like Mark Robinson. Hopefully he can stick around on the practice squad because I think he's a nice little depth piece, guy to come in for, a series or two a game, but not a long-term guy, but a guy that you need on the roster because he provides good special teams and he can hit.
Corey says, RB, I believe you, but how many people can say they got leveled by TJ Watt? Bragging rights for life. And RB says, people have no idea the skill gap from the NFL players to even good high school players. Sanders against my undefeated city champ ran for city championship game, ran for 255 yards, 3 touchdowns, returns. And I'm going to give you a good example, guys. And you may have heard of this school. It has more Hall of Famers than any other high school in the country. It's called Aliquippa, right across the river. And there's guys like Mike Ditka and Ty Law and Darrell Rivas and Sean Gilbert and Tony Dorsett, even for that matter. Guys all come from Aliquippa. Let me give you an example of what is being explained here by RB. Back when Terrell Pryor was still in high school, he went to a high school called Jeanette, the Jeanette Jayhawks, before he went off to Ohio State. And Aliquippa is, believe me, this team, Aliquippa, they are the most dominant team in the state. They play. The state makes them play up 3 classes because they are so good, and they still go on to win state championships. But anyway, when Terrell Pryor was in high school, he was so good, Mike. He ended out, and believe me, it was him. He had 10 players around him.
Yeah,
but his team put up 70 points in a 70-12 win over Aliquippa.
You don't do that to Quip.
It doesn't happen to begin with, and to beat Aliquippa. But to go on and beat them at that level, and that just showed you that this guy, and even Mike, to go on to be a pro, that wasn't. Listen, he had mad potential, but he wasn't. He's not a guy that went off to be a Hall of Famer or a guy like this. So just imagine the level difference between a guy like him and the guys at the very top level. I think is such a large gap. But totally understood what you're saying there, RB, because we've seen it firsthand. Again, nobody beats Aliquippa the way they do, and they got handled. They got handled bad. And it was a back-to-back week where there's another good football school that we have here. They beat them back-to-back, and I think they put up 68 points the following week against them. Just gives you a great just definitely confirming what you're saying on that. No two ways about it. And, again, these are guys that, Bob Sanders was good, but, what was Troy Polamalu like in college? You know what I mean?
Yeah, a beast. I remember Penn State played that USC team he was on. You saw that, this cat's something special, because Penn State had Larry Johnson. You can tell he was going to go pro at that point. And watching those two play, that was a good game.
John says Jones is an example of the NFL skill gap. He is struggling. Tortilla says the obsession with Sanders is pissing me off, bro. Was mid his whole career, and everyone crying that he isn't being treated like he belongs in the Hall of Fame. And then Tortilla does follow that by saying, I want to see Mark Robinson play on the edge. I do too. I would love to see a little bit more Mark Robinson. We have so many effing linebackers. It's insane, Mike. And I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. With injuries and things like this. But Nick Herbig is one of the guys that I'm waiting to see this year, Mike. I think he, given the opportunity, will make a lot of big plays. Again, as you mentioned, Peyton Wilson, I think he's primed to have a big season. He's ready to prove himself in this league. Again, the guys you don't even mention because the TJ Watts, Alex Highsmith, these guys, Patrick Queen. You hope that these veterans could do the things that they're supposed to do. But, Mike, a lot of the surrounding supporting cast of these linebackers, I'm so pumped up to see these guys play. It's going to be great to see them out on the field. Jack Sawyer, another one.
Jack Sawyer, yeah. I think Mark Robinson, he's way too small to play on edge. But, if they're going to move guys around and you line them up out there, okay, teams be like, oh, catch a middle linebacker. Where's he going to go? You got to account for something different. I just want to see him, just be a solid backup. Just a guy that you can plug in if Sears are here or there. I think he's going to make the team on special teams. I don't think he's ever going to reach the heights we were hoping that we can get him into being like a at least starter level guy, but I think he's going to be a key backup if he keeps playing the way he is this year. He's looking lights out in camp. But it is camp.
Donald says Mark Robinson or Watson Struner will be on the practice squad. John says Johnson is getting some reality snaps. His lack of blocking and catching are on display. He can't be a one-trick pony in the NFL. You know what? And the thing about I want to see from Caleb Johnson, Mike, and Jalen Warren. Last year, the Steelers ranked third in the NFL in first downs by rush rate.
Yeah,
at a 61.3%. I want to see these two running backs be able to do what the last two did together and a little bit more, obviously.
Yeah.
Because everyone always talked about they wish Najee was faster. Well, now you got a faster guy. I want to see these two guys be able to do what Najee and Warren. Because, again, at the end of the day, behind a not-so-ideal line situation, behind a not-so-great offensive situation, and also playing for Canada before he got canned, and everything that went on, Mike, they were still able to run pretty effectively. Again, 1,000 yards through first 4 seasons for Najee Harris in his career. I think that this group right here could be fine. They just have to match that level, Mike. We have to have a big year by Caleb Johnson. Do you think that Jalen Warren is, obviously they want to run the running back by committee, but do you think Jalen Warren could run the load if need be?
I think he can. It's just with him, it's going to be ball security. I know year 2 in the league, he had 5 fumbles. He only had 1 last year, I believe, but I think he can do it, but he still has that linger in the back of my mind. Can he hold on to the ball the way Najee did? I think he has the skill set for it. I'm not worried about his size, but dude's built like a fucking brick shit house. He's short, compact, squat monster type dude. I'm okay with it. I think he can carry the load. I think Johnson will be able to do well too. It's just, he's still working on being a better blocker and a better receiver. There's things that, he knows he has to work on and he's wanting to work on. He has the talent to be a damn good running back. If he doesn't turn into a complete, every down running back, that's fine. Because if we're going to do the running back by committee, all right, just put him in there when we're obviously not going to pass. Don't put him on there in 3rd and long. Put Gainwell back there or Jalen Warren back there because those guys do great in those situations anyway. I'll let Johnson do what he does best, which is just tote the rock. So right there, play into the strengths of each guy in that running back room, and I think we're going to get the same amount. I think we're going to get more production out of this group of running backs than the group of running backs we had last year.
Corey says at RB, I'd be laid out in the middle of the field like the fat guy in the longest yard. I'd be like, bring me the protein bar and a Ghost Energy, and I'll be fine. RB says I played against Larry and Tony Johnson in high school as well. Was like a man against boys out there. Absolutely. Here, I get you, man. I really do. Anywhere that you live in Pittsburgh area, one of these guys, or you've played against one of these guys, or you've seen these guys play constantly. Guys pumping out not only good people, but pretty great players from Western Pennsylvania pretty regularly. RB says Johnson was 70% of Iowa's offense. He was never asked to block. He needs time to learn. Absolutely. and that's why they're practicing, right, guys?
Yep.
John says, fact, Austin and Smith aren't stellar ACs. Can they drive the Ferraris that are now on the team? Time will tell. Coaching or lack thereof this season should be focused for next year and beyond. I agree 100%. How many times can you give the team, again, and I hate to keep going back to the Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown team, but I mean, you have the people wanted to call him the best running back, the best wide receiver in the league, and then also a top 5 by numbers quarterback in the league. In this team certainly didn't win any championships during that time. So maybe if you put this team together full of all these names and faces and talents, Mike, at the end of the season, maybe the organization will start taking the coaching thing a little bit more seriously. But I don't know. I don't even want to say to be fair, because at this point, I think that we should probably have better coaches, at least coordinators at this point. So, Mike, let's hope that continues and make the adjustments on whatever the problems are, because that is what we used to do as a team. If the problem is this person, you make it better. You go out and get somebody better, and you continue to build. Why those kind of little common sense things don't happen, I don't know. They kept Canada for how long? Obviously wasn't an offensive coordinator in the NFL. The guy had experience from a high school. He was a high school coach or some shit. That's what's going on here with the assistant coaches in Pittsburgh. Not a big fan of that. But again, if that continues to be the reason that we're not successful, they have to look at these things. Tortilla on the board says Najee has a problem hitting the holes. His vision can be ass at times. Johnson so far looks like he shoots through the gaps before you even notice it. Well, one thing I got to say about it's either shit or get off the pot, because all the people that told me how bad Najee was the last couple of years, I will be telling them how things are at the end of the year if these two running backs aren't as good as it was when Najee was here. So just keep that in mind, everybody. He did have 1,000 yards in his first 4 seasons. John says 18. True. Johnson will be he'll be given time, just like Harris had. Okay, he's talking to RB 18. Artie Smith is a great offensive coordinator. That's why he was still getting head coach interviews. I don't know what people expect here. You need people to fit a system to run it. But on the other hand, people say that Tomlin's a terrible coach, and they're going to say that if someone says that Tomlin's a terrible coach and Artie Smith is a good coach, I don't know if I buy into that. Again, he put together a decent team in Tennessee. All right, they had a good season. He went to Atlanta, went 7-10 3 years in a row. And again, I mean, if he's that good of a coach, maybe they should have done better. I don't know. That's a good question. John says Haley and LeBeau were the last quality assistant coaches. RB says no one wants to say it. I will say I will. Canada was the only of our offensive coordinator because he gave Dino a scholarship when no one else would. And follows it up by saying, same reason we have the same shitty strength coach now, having QBs push sleds. His dad was Dino's NIL sponsor. I want to talk about special teams here in just one. Mike, let me get into special teams before I go any further on the board. Some positive things about special teams, guys, being named the punt returner, because I believe because of his performance yesterday, he was challenged, or he challenged Calvin Austin III was challenged to the punt drill, the punt return drill, where you catch as many balls as you can. And Calvin Austin III caught 7 of them, and coincidentally, he was named within the next 24 hours the starting punt returner for the team. Mike, which makes me ask this question: how similar should we expect Calvin? Realistically, should we expect Calvin Austin to be somewhat similar to what Antonio Brown was? Again, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand Antonio Brown is
I know what you mean,
mad talent, but he's given the same opportunities. They're going to put him as a starting wide receiver. I mean, that they named him starting wide receiver before camp even started, and now naming him the punt returner. Mike, can we expect anything similar to what Antonio Brown did in his time in Pittsburgh by a player like Calvin Austin, who's given all those same opportunities?
I don't think he's going to match the production level, but he will have like those results. Like they want to get the ball in his hands, because you see how fast, how quick he is, and he can make plays. So yeah, I have no problem him going back there as the punt returner. I think he can be electric back there, breaking off some long runs and long returns, and he maybe a touchdown or 2 this year out of the kicking game for him. I can see him doing that and finding ways to get him in the ball on offense because he's looking really good in training camp, blowing by DBs. And watch his footwork and his route running. It has gotten better year over year. If this cat was like 3 inches taller, my God, we wouldn't be worried about a wide receiver too. He would be our wide receiver too. That's the only thing that concerns me is his build. Can he take the punishment? But if they
And
use
that's
him
the only
smart,
reason
I
really,
think
Mike, hold up,
lot.
Mike. And that's the only reason that I did want to throw the Antonio Brown aspect into it is because he wasn't the biggest guy. He was kind of a little guy. And that's why I said that is his similarities going to mirror. And again, very, very talented Antonio Brown, who could arguably be one of the better wide receivers the league's ever seen. But could his abilities and his size and his speed and what he brings to the game that's similar to Antonio Brown, is there any way he can mirror that? And we could expect seeing that.
I think so. I don't think you're going to see the crazy sideline catches from Calvin Austin because the way AB was able to control his body was otherworldly. But I think with his route running and his ability to get open, I'm expecting more than like the 500 yards he had last year. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people, turn a lot of heads.
All right, let's stick on the special teams tip, guys. We have offense, defense, special teams, all kind of stuff today to go over, and we're going to keep you updated on all of it. Mike, when being interviewed on the PMS, Danny Smith told the host that we got a punt battle. We have a punt battle, which means this. It means Corliss Waitman and Cameron Johnston, Mike, must both be kicking the shit out of that football at camp. And I got to be honest, with what we've seen from Waitman last year, if Johnston wasn't back, I would be totally fine with Waitman being the punter.
Yeah.
But now that Johnston's back, who's actually statistically one of the best punters in the league ever, this has to be insane if you're a special teams guy. And there are people that just, they specifically like the special teams. And they focus on that. You got to be losing your mind with these two punters. Which one of these two punters, Mike, ends up kicking the football for us?
I think it's going to end up being Cam Johnson. Look at their salaries. That's you hate to say it, but who's making more? And when it's close, you're going to go with the guy that you're paying more.
Absolutely.
And Cam Johnson was the guy that they had slated in to be their guy, and he fortunately got hurt. Waitman came in. That's like, my God, why did we get rid of him the first time? Thank God he was available. But I think it's going to come down to Cam Johnson, and I have a feeling when Waitman does get cut, he is going to get snatched up immediately by an NFL team. This guy is a top punter in the NFL. But I want to see them both punt in the preseason. Last year, you wanted to see him because like, oh God, we heard about Cam Johnson. Now I just want to see these two punt out. Offense, go 3 and out, boys. Let's Danny Smith and boys kick it out.
And finally, guys, on the special teams tip, they're not the only two guys that can't kick well, Mike, because Chris Boswell was kicking good field goals yesterday from 58 yards, maybe a little bit beyond in the warm-ups.
Yeah.
Special teams is one thing that I'm certainly not going to worry about on this team, Mike. Between the competition between those two guys you just spoke about is at the punting position and what we know Chris Boswell is going to bring to the table. That is one of the 1/3 of the team that we're not going to have to worry about.
Yeah, the special teams, like especially the kicking game, I'm not worried about. Coverage team, nah, not really. I think they'll be fine on coverage team as well.
All right, let's catch up on a couple of these messages before we move on to the defense. You know what? Okay, let me go right here. John makes a great point. If Smith was all that, someone would have hired and paid for him. Isn't that people want these if they're in high demand, they don't let them sit. So that's what I'm saying with Artie Smith, guys. Whether he's good or he's not, I've yet to be convinced of it. But I hear he's a pretty good coach, and we'll see. We hope that the offense continues to improve, so we could confirm that. Corey says, I wanted Najee to stay. He's constantly had shitty O-lines here and still had over 1,000 yards a year. Imagine what he could do with a solid O-line. Very great point. We've seen what he could do in space. He can be scary. He's a good running back. He's a solid running back. He's available running back. He doesn't turn the ball over often. The Chargers got themselves a good one. However, they have a good rookie as well. So who knows what's eventually going to happen with Najee in Los Angeles. But again, put him behind Philadelphia's line. I think he has a pretty damn good season. Tortilla says, I heard Chuck Clark looks damn good. And I do want to say this, Chuck Clark has overtook a lot of people's opinions over Juan Thornhill, Mike. You spoke a little bit about Thornhill earlier, and also Peyton Wilson and Joey Porter Jr. both being mentioned and setting the tone for the defense in the first day of pads practice, Mike. So the defense. Jalen Ramsey, so much you're hearing about him. Peyton Wilson, so much you're hearing about him. You're seeing all the footage of JPJ just like I am on social media. Guys, Chuck Clark, another name. 9 days. That's all I keep thinking is just 9 days till we can see these guys play.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Tortilla says, I like Najee too. He was my favorite player, but didn't help the O-line just as much as they didn't help him. Just not a scheme fit for what they want to do. He's a downhill running back. Absolutely. In the right situation, he could be a damn good running back in this league. No two ways about that. Tortilla, AB made me think I could return kicks. AB was so good on kick returns, it looked like a video game, especially when he was kicking people, wasn't he?
Oh, that was the best. I was about to say when he was at the Browns punter, cleated him. That was I laughed when he did that. It's like I knew he was going to get flagged as soon as he jumped and kicked the guy. But fuck yeah, go ahead and do it. That should have been a telltale sign that there's something not right with this guy, because that was before the perfect hit.
Yeah. RV says, John, a lot of people think Spagnuolo is a great a GOAT level DC. Just because you're a great coordinator won't translating into being a head coach. Look at LeBeau. Derpy on the board. Derpy, I think, is going to be on tomorrow, getting ready to go to camp. Derpy goes to camp is going to be the theme for tomorrow, Mike. People get excited about the weekend to see movies. The movie here is Derpy goes to camp. We'll be talking to him tomorrow.
Christ.
Mark Malone says Antonio Brown and Roman are precisely the same size. Calvin Austin is 5'7" 3/4", 162 at the combine.
AB was 5'10", $185.
What's Tyreek Hill? He's a little guy too.
Oh, I'll look up Tyreek Hill.
While you're doing that, I'll grab John. John says, RB, supply and demand. If a team wanted Smith or Austin as ACs, they would bid the Steelers. That wouldn't be hard to do since the Steelers are tight asses. I think if we were contacted about any of our coordinators, we would certainly listen. And I didn't hear anything in the offseason about that being the case.
I know Ari, he had one interview, but it was North Carolina.
It was it was college.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill's 5'10", $191. Right. He does not look 5'10", $191.
I mean, it's about 5'3".
Right? Yeah, he looks smaller in pads. It's weird.
RB says it will be Cam Johnson simply because Mike cares way more about placement than leg. Not saying Johnson don't have a leg, but Waitman doesn't do all these goofy spin kicks. Johnson does. I mean, at the end of the day, you want the better one, right? And I think ultimately Johnston is the better kicker. And I'm not saying anything negative about Waitman. Like I said, I would take him. I would make him my punter in a heartbeat if this wasn't the situation. However, I want to get a look at the other guy, the guy that got injured, the guy that is, again, statistically a top 5 punter in the league. I mean, why wouldn't you want that, Mike? And I would certainly like to get a look at him this year since we didn't get a chance to look at him last year. It will suck losing the other guy, whoever it's not going to be. But I think that just because, again, the pay, we lost him last year. People want to give this guy an opportunity, Mike, and his numbers are all great reasons to make him your starter.
Yeah,
he can't lose your position by injury. I mean, that's always kind of been an unwritten football theme. You shouldn't be able to lose your position to injury, and that would be, in fact, the case if that's what happens. I'm on the Johnston train on this one, guys.
Yeah, I'm fine with both, but give me Cam Johnson because he can boom it and he can place it too. He's really good at pinning people inside the 20.
RB also says, but Waitman was brought back solely off Boz saying so. Boz trained him how to hold. Vegas, my man, what's up? Happy Hall of Fame game day to you, sir. Great seeing Vegas on the board. Very excited, man. Again, the Lions-Chargers tonight. The Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio. If you're not going, it's at 8 o'clock. I believe it's like on the it's on regular channels. Everybody will be watching. Ain't nothing goofy. Isn't no streaming only. Hall of Fame game tonight, 8 o'clock. Chargers-Lions, guys. I can't wait to see both of these teams, as a matter of fact. Chargers because they're in our conference, and Lions, I'm just curious on what they do after whatever that was last year that finished their season. Again, best record in the league. They end out losing in the first playoff game of the playoffs. Wasn't exactly what I expected to see. RB says Jalen Ramsey went to Peyton Wilson's room the night before pads and showed Peyton his own NC State highlight reel on YouTube and asked, "Where is this guy? I need this guy." And guess what? He got that guy, because who were we hearing about on first day of pads more than most people? Peyton Wilson. John says Harris doesn't have NFL vision. Blocking can't fix that. He averaged 3.9 per carry and averaged 64 yards per game. There is more than enough tape showing he missed holes. I can't deny that either. There's truth in that as well. RB says Jets and Bears interviewed already.
That's right. Yeah, he did.
I remember it was the Bears. I remember the Bears when you were saying that. That didn't seem like it went well, though, right? I don't. Just my opinion. Again, he was 7-10 in the 3 opportunities he had to coach a team, Mike, and a lot of these guys from that team ended up coming here. So for us to say, you know what, these were bad players that he was coaching in Atlanta, since he's come, we've pulled a lot of them players from Atlanta here. So I kind of have to be a little bit more convinced on the Artie Smith thing, but that's just me. Kenneth says Atlanta didn't have a quarterback with Arthur. Who was their quarterback? Didn't they have?
Oh, they had Mariota. Then didn't they have like Desmond Rittler?
I don't remember. I don't remember when Rittler got there. If
Rittler or Rattler.
That might have been his last year.
I can't remember all their bad quarterbacks they had down there.
That might have been Artie's last year. I think they got Riddler. I think his name is. But again, I don't know. Why is everyone giving the guy so much props? Is what I want to know. Again, has he really done anything to give us that much fight for him? I don't know. I haven't seen it. Again, Tennessee was a pretty good team. He had Derrick Henry. You know, things are different when you guys got guys like Derrick Henry. So, again, I got to see more from Artie Smith. I haven't personally seen anything that got me excited about it. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say. Mark Malone says some other team is going to get a damn good punter. Damn right they are. RB says some guys aren't head coaches. Don't mean you're not an amazing OC or DC. I agree. Austin is the drizzling shits, but Artie's a good OC. He just has a system. And when you have a system, again, I need to see more from this system. Why does he keep going in places that aren't built for his system and don't have the players? You know, maybe that says something about him. Instead of going to Atlanta, who doesn't have anything, why didn't he go somewhere? I don't know. Again, to me, I still need convinced. I still need some more convincing on Artie Smith. Tortilla says Kyle Pitts didn't help Arthur Smith either. Kenny D, welcome to the board. Kenny says, let's go Steelers. Definitely, man. Let's go Steelers. Tortilla, trade Waitman to the Bears for a 4th-round pick. They got any receivers we could
They do got a receiver we can trade for Carlos Waitman and they give us the receiver and a 4th-round pick. Omar Khan has their GM and some kind of Jedi mind trick going, brother. I think
Tortilla does follow it up by saying Khan owns the Bears.
He does.
RB says John is right about Najee. Mark Malone says, I wonder what's up with Ciamalo. Something tells me he showed up in Casey Hampton-like shape. Gonna huff some paint to confirm.
Ciamalo is back, brother. He's back today.
As Mike literally just jumped in and took the words out of my mouth, Ciamalo is back as of this morning, back at practice again. That is something to be very, very positive and excited about. Getting him back on the offensive line in his veteran leadership, Mike, is going to go a long way. Kenneth says, yes, Austin is becoming Rodgers' go-to. He works as hard as Brown did. That's I got to be honest with you. That's a good thing to hear. Somebody worked as hard as Brown was. The guy was a head case, but the guy did work his ass off.
I was going to say, you that's something you can never take away from AB. Was his work ethic was phenomenal.
Mark Malone did like the diddler. You know what?
What was Jerry Sandusky got to do with this, brother?
You know what? I don't want to get into this yet, but isn't it odd that they continued to call him Diddy the whole way through this trial? It's a federal trial. His name is Sean Combs, and nothing official I've seen called him Sean Combs. Isn't it odd to anybody that they called him Diddy the whole way through his federal case? Again, just something interesting to keep an eye on outside of sports. I just think that's odd. Diddy. Kenny, welcome. Kenny, thank you. I'm sorry, not welcome. Kenny's. It's time for number 7. I agree. I couldn't agree anymore.
Thank you, Kenny.
And I got to be honest with you, I feel better about this team than I felt quite some time about the Steelers. Thank you, Kenny. We appreciate it, sir. RB says, Ryan, those guys came as a central coach-player role to help transition to the Smith system. Again, I have to see it. I fall in that category with John. I have to see it to believe it. I'm being a realist here. He's never done anything that really wowed me. Tennessee had a good team. Okay. He wasn't even the head coach. We'll say what you want about Vrabel, but again, I have to see more. I'm just being real. That's all. I've never been blown away by R.D. Smith. Vegas says, I wonder how much inheritance R.D. Smith got from his pappy. Wasn't his dad?
That was his dad. Probably a shit ton of money, brother.
Of course, the founder of FedEx was Arthur Smith's dad. Donald says, I just got a text from the Steelers app that Isaac Seumalo returned to practice. He did. Isaac Seumalo is back at practice as of this morning. Great news. Mark Malone saying he's back. Hell yeah. RB says Isaac had a small hammy strain from doing yard work. And that's what the guys that come in and they're hurt so early in camp. Listen, I'm not talking about Seumalo because I like him a lot, but these other guys that come in and they get hurt on the first day of camp, like who's the guys we just cut? I mean, you really were off all summer, all off season. Were you not keeping up with yourself? And if it's only it's only $1 million contracts you're playing for here. So I would think that these guys would keep up, Mike. But so many people so early in camps go down with these injuries. I don't know.
I don't know, brother. Shit happens, brother.
Shit happens, but it happens a lot. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot. I mean, I don't know. You're not stretching, or you're not a professional athlete.
You could be overworking it too. You get injured that way. You're training too hard because you want to get ready for the season to where training camp's easy for you. You overdo it instead of building up to it to where training camp's hard and your body's ready to go. You're blowing through the off season, working hard, and then your body gets to a point, your muscles just like, nope. Well, we can't do anymore. And guess what? Pop.
Yeah.
Shit happens like that.
Or they're not doing any. We don't know. We don't know. We can't say. Tortilla said people forget how often Austin was running wide open last year. Russ couldn't see him. Justin was just too scared to throw to him. If DK stays healthy, Austin can be number 2. Rodgers will get him the ball. Again, what we're seeing early, we're seeing a lot of early. We are seeing a lot of Austin highlights at camp. So, I mean, that is encouraging as well. And Roman Wilson. So if we're not going to go after that number 2, Mike, like a lot of us wanted to happen, these two guys really need to step it up, talking about Calvin Austin III and Roman Wilson.
The Muggsy Bogues of the NFL.
Vegas says the Ravens announcer is named Jerry Sandusky. That's great.
That's when you change your name. Yeah,
that
the other Sandusky may have sucked, but I'm changing my name on that one, brother.
Corey, as far as Broderick Jones, I haven't heard anything new. I haven't heard anything new. I haven't. Mike, have you heard any more scoop on Broderick?
He's looking the same as he ever was. Same as he ever was. But hopefully getting Seumalo back next to him, you step up your performance.
Vegas said his wife complained he didn't trim the hedges. Sticky B, what you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says would love to see Rodgers bring home number 7, then right off into the sun. That's the storyline I'm going with right there. And let me tell you something. When Terry Bradshaw said go and suck on bark and talk to your gods, and even Aaron Rodgers made the comment yesterday when he was talking on the PMS show. He did. He was asked about, going and talking to the gods. And he said, I talk to the gods all the time. And you know what? People think he sounds crazy, but I talk to the football gods all the time. And if these gods are talking to his gods, things might be good again. Aaron Rodgers, guys, if this could be a right off into the sunset kind of season for him and bring number 7, more power to you. I love it. Would love nothing more to take that lead back over New England. I'm tired of being tied with them at 6 Super Bowls. Let's get the lead back, get back to 7 so we could talk all the shit. Because no matter what you say now, New England got 6 too. New England got 10. Well, New England literally only had a 20-year period of time where they were good. The Steelers have been consistent since Super Bowl era began. So in that sense, we are the superior team. But for the people that don't know any better, Mike, we have to have a lead over New England because that's always going to be what people go to. Well, New England got the 6 Super Bowls. Yeah,
but we got there first.
That's right.
So fuck them.
Fuck them.
Fuck them.
It's so weird not hating the Patriots anymore. I hated them for so long.
I know, right?
I don't hate them anymore. I don't know why. RB says this. RB says it's partially fault of the strength and conditioning program being ran by a favor repayment hire.
I don't know. That guy must be training everyone in the league. Because I'm looking at injury reports right now. They're a mile long on every team.
Yeah, that's why I hate that. That's the one thing I hate about this time of year is just this injuries. Because whatever it is, like whether they're working too much or not enough, you certainly see the injuries this time of year. You just don't like to see them be it for all season. Those are the devastating ones. Broderick is a calf strain. Tortilla says, I heard Broderick stubbed his toe. That's why the earthquake happened. RV says, and both Andersons have looked serviceable in replacement duties. I've heard the same on that. Mark Malone says, is Robustrous actually practicing again?
Yeah.
He's back.
Yeah, he made it out yesterday, too, for a little bit.
I'm going to grab these last couple of messages, Mike, and then we're going to jump to some offensive scoop from camp, scoop and stories. I'm going to go right here. Corey says, great, so we didn't take any LTs worth a shit because we had the utmost faith in Broderick Jones, and now it's biting us in the ass. I hope we have an answer left tackle. We can't afford a weak side with a weak backside with Rodgers there. No two ways about that, guys. And that's what I said yesterday. He's my weak link on this whole entire football team.
Mm-hmm.
Broderick Jones is the weak link. And it's not because of his lack of play. It's this right here. I'm not sure I'm too confident with the guy between the ears.
Me either.
He's just having such a difficult time grasping what he needs to do. That is a concern for me that it's season 3 and we're still talking about some of the things that we were still talking about in season 1 and season 2 with Broderick Jones. In between the ears, this guy, in my opinion, is the weakest link on this. Of our starting 25, your 11-11 and your 3 special teamers, Mike, he's the weakest link.
Yeah, he is, by far. Because he can sink or swim the entire season.
I agree. That's what scares me. Because we have a lot of good going on, and you're only as good as your weakest link, they say. RB says Darnell Washington ran some left tackle in an unbalanced set, up with 3 offensive tackles. Okay. Let's see. Also, Washington weighs 4 pounds more than Broderick Jones right now. We mentioned that kind of yesterday, tongue in cheek. But I got to be honest with you, Mike. If Broderick Jones isn't footing the bill and Darnell Washington actually can, which probably ain't going to be the case.
No,
I would not be against it. Again, I want the able body. I want whoever's going to get the job done.
No. He would need a full off season of working to be a tackle.
Mike, the other guys had 3. Mike, the other guys 3, 2 whole seasons and 3 off seasons, and he's nowhere even close.
What has Mount Washington showed that makes people think he would be an elite left tackle?
Maybe he's blocking better than the starter. I don't know. I didn't see it, but again, if he's playing the position, maybe he's had more success. And again, I think it's still tongue in cheek. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He's not going to be your starting left tackle. But at the end of the day, I want the able guy. Broderick Jones right now is a liability on his team. Him being healthy, I don't know, Mike, if we're better off with him being healthy or not. Yeah. So do what you want with that. John says the team's success depends on the O-line's ability to protect a 41-year-old quarterback with minimal mobility. Every opposing coach knows this fact. Absolutely. You always got to look at, the common sense things. That's a great point. And Broderick Jones is the one that's he's the deciding factor. You're right. If it comes down to him, that's scares the hell out of me. Tortilla spent first-round picks on them. We got to see if what we can get out of them, especially after we traded Dotson and he turned into one of the league's best guards. Donald Lurie said that Terry Bradshaw has never said anything nice about any Steelers about since retired.
Mm-hmm.
Terry Bradshaw has such a weird post-player career. Remember, there was like 20 years that went by that he wasn't like. Remember when they brought him back, Mike, and it was a big thing because he wasn't involved with the Steelers like in any way for like decades went by.
Oh yeah,
and like
it was a long time.
He wasn't like on TV talking about the Steelers. There was no connection really. And then they brought him back, and it was like this big thing. He was waving a terrible towel. The crowd loved him. Now he loves talking about the Steelers. But there was a long period of time like when he just didn't even talk about the Steelers. Being, from what he was and what he meant to this city and this team and everything was bizarre. But again, once he opens up, but that's true. He said some bizarre and acted in some bizarre ways since his career wrapped up.
He hated Ben for the longest time.
He hated Ben for the longest time.
Until like at like the last couple of years of Ben's career, he finally warmed to Ben. Because I think he was starting to be threatened, like, oh, Ben won 2 Super Bowls real quick. Is he going to get my 4? Like, and then Terry never liked Chuck Noll, hated Chuck Noll. So yeah.
John says, I don't like the Pats. However, they got their 6 with the same head coach and quarterback. I respect that. Me too. I do too. Terry Madshaw. That's what Tia called him. RB says, what's RB? RB says this. He says, I watch every Rodgers snap last year. I don't know where this statue shit comes from. Is he prime Aaron? No, but he's more mobile than Ben in his last 5 years. You know what? I think he's somewhere in between there. I really do. Again, you add another year on top of that. He's closer to 50 than he is to 30. You got to keep that in mind, guys. I think he's a little bit more mobile than people give him credit for. But on the other hand, he's certainly not going to be pulling any Lamar Jackson kind of stuff with his speed. So that's going to be interesting as well, guys. But nonetheless, you probably want a good left tackle to watch his 6, right?
Yeah. Yep. He's just gonna. No, I'm not going down the Broderick Jones pipeline today. I'm too good of a mood.
Tortillas has put Broderick at the edge rusher. Sticky B, what you know about Sticky B? Sticky B says this. Do you guys think with all the tight end heavy personnel packages, we may run it? Should help shield Broderick as the weakest. I mean, whenever they listen, we're going to find out. We'll find out early. It's not going to be a big secret that Broderick Jones is a question mark on this team, guys. So, whatever happens with Broderick is going to be interesting, and it could probably play a big part of how this season turns out. Unfortunately, I'd love to see him get it together. Who doesn't want to see Broderick Jones get it together? But again, Mike, 2 whole seasons and 3 off seasons, and he's still kind of having these problems. That's worrisome. And I think in any organization, they would be saying the same thing. I don't know anybody that would be thrilled with his progress.
Yeah, when you're seeing, they turned Dan Moore into an $80 million left tackle.
Right.
Mason McCormick was a lower round pick, and they made him a serviceable starter last year. They're able to get Frazier to go in and play right away. I think he was going to be able to do that anyway. But, they were able to take some of these guys that weren't nothing and make them into something. And, they did fail on Kevin Dotson, but, they have had successes elsewhere too. And then Broderick Jones. Broderick, it's like you said, it's all up here. Like, it's just you can't grasp it, or he doesn't care to grasp it, which it kind of has that feel to, like he has that aloofness to him. Sometimes you look at him like he's just that happy-go-lucky guy. Sometimes like, oh, this is great that I'm here. It's like, put your nose to the grindstone, dude, and you're gonna be great. You're gonna be set for life. You have the ability, but you just can't do it consistently. I just don't know what it is with him. I don't want to call him lazy, because you make it to the NFL, you're not lazy, but it's like, are you NFL lazy? You know what I mean? To where you don't do that extra. You don't get the mental part of it.
Tortillas has put Jalen Warren at left tackle. Yeah, he'll get out there.
He'll probably get his ass beat some, but he'll fucking fight his ass off out there.
Sean says, again, someone mentioned earlier the large gap once in the NFL. This year is Jones's chance. It might not be his fault if he can't grow into an extremely tough position. Yeah, you know what? My argument with that, though, guys, would be we went out and drafted this guy as a national championship winning left tackle, thinking that, okay, you might be able to work with him to make him good enough to be a starting left tackle in the NFL. And the fact, again, that we're still kind of on this running in place with him is, again, one of my biggest concerns on the team. But what are you going to do? What can you do at this point? We're kind of locked in. I mean, there's not many options, Mike, at left tackle remaining. If he doesn't work and you have to go with somebody else, we'll take a look at them as well. But as of right now, he's the starting left tackle. So We got to hope for the best. Vegas says, how long of a leash does Broderick Jones have this year? It kind of leads right into that, Mike.
Yeah.
It's going to take, I don't know. What do you think? How long of a leash does Broderick Jones have, Mike?
Not a short leash, not a long leash, a nice medium-sized leash. Because who's going to be the starter after him? You flip Fatano there and put Dylan Cook or Calvin Anderson at right tackle. Because I'd trust Fatano more at left tackle.
We haven't seen Fatano play it down. I mean, what are we talking about?
He played a game or two.
Okay, well, Mike, you understand what I'm saying? I'm being okay. I'm exaggerating. So we trust the guy that literally has no experience. Okay, I mean that's an answer. That's a possibility. I still have to see what Fatano could do. We're just assuming that he's going to go well because he was our first round pick, but again, so was Broderick Jones. RB says Terry is jealous. He hates anyone who will steal his thunder. That's the way it was seen for a long time too, and it may still be that way. I mean, very well. Kenny says Chuck Noll wasn't Southern enough for Bradshaw, and Bradshaw was so used to his college coaches being so friendly to him. Donald says Bradshaw blamed the Steelers for how his career ended. It's so weird because everyone loves Terry. You know what I mean? I hate to see any turmoil because, again, you won us 4 Super Bowls, man. We love you. Mark Malone says the freaking asshole has to get it together. We traded up for the bastard. Mark Tortilla says, yeah, what if Dan Moore has a great year? Can we finally get a new offensive line coach then? John says Rodgers was the 4th fastest quarterback at getting the ball out of his hands. I do like that. I do like that. He knows he's not mobile anymore. Absolutely. He does have a fast delivery, and you see it in camp. He gets the ball out quick. He doesn't piss around. I like that. And the guy knows where guys are going is another thing that goes in our favor. He's such a veteran, and he knows his plays and knows his playbook. And I those aren't things that I'm worried about. As far as Aaron, we're going to get Aaron. Aaron is going to be Aaron. And at this point, I hope we can get some wins out of that. Tortilla, the only person in the NFL Broderick Jones has ever blocked for and looked good was Mason Rudolph. There you go, Mike. Your guy.
That's my guy, Mason. Me and Mark Malone.
RB, I love people complaining about line depth when Dan Moore gets $85 million and he's asked, and then complain we draft too many line players. I'm all for drafting the line players. Again, when we started this 3 years ago, Mike, they wanted to build this team that way, the same way the Eagles built their team from the inside out. Get your line figured out first, and they did. And he may be a swing and miss, guys. He might be, unfortunately, he might be a swing and miss.
Yeah.
I hope he's not.
I hope he's not. Every GM has him, but man, it sucks. It sucks when he was supposed to be the centerpiece.
John says, Ryan, that is the problem with all the draft picks for all these teams. There is no simulation that can predict how well a player will do in the big league. It's all a crapshoot. RB says anyone competent will cost a ton of money. Tortilla says there was probably a bidding war for Dan Moore, and the Titans were in position to overpay. And Kenny, and then I'm going to get back to some more stuff here. Kenny says, I'm cutting Broderick some slack. He toughed it out last year, playing half season with a bum elbow injury. I mean, that's fair as well. There's just things that he's not picking up that doesn't sit well with me. Again, it's not his physical attributes. I'm very thrilled with his physical attributes. I really am. The guy's built like a left tackle. I mean, yes, he's down some weight this year, but to pick his speed up. But again, at the end of the day, it's more up here. This is where I'm concerned about with Broderick Jones. John says receivers getting open fast and getting yak is key. Absolutely. And that would be a nice change of pace too. Oh. And then Kenneth says rookie year Jones was fine. What happened was the O-line coach. Well, you know what? When he made mistakes in his rookie year and he wasn't getting it in his rookie year, it was okay because it was his rookie year. I mean, we've come some way now. And again, there's still things that you're seeing where he hasn't advanced. And that's, again, the stuff that worries me. Guys, let's get into some things again from practice, Mike. At camp, these are some things that were said by our captain on the offensive side of the ball. Aaron Rodgers says this about Zach Frazier, Mike. He says that Zach Frazier is so freaking smart. He's literally making all these calls at the line. He's doing a lot of things, the things that the great centers that the league has seen or is doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason everyone's liking what everyone's happy with Aaron Rodgers right now because
Yeah.
he's saying all the right things. This certainly falls in line with that. I don't not believe him, but again,
Yeah.
Mike, he's up there. He's bringing up the things that are happening. That's good that he's seeing. He's seen a lot in this
Yeah.
league, and Mike, he's saying that Zach Frazier, our franchise center for probably the next 10 years, is very, very, very freaking smart.
Yeah.
And he loves playing behind Frazier,
Yeah.
despite the bad snaps early on in the camp.
Yeah, I like his tongue-in-cheek thing was like, oh God, this kid, someone's got to put him in his place. He's making calls for me already. Who's he think he is? But then, all tongue-in-cheek, of course. But yeah, you like to hear that, like, okay, this cat's been around the league a lot, knows what he needs out of his center. And I like to hear that from Frazier too, not caring who the quarterback is. Like, I'm going to do my job. I'm going to get us set correctly if you're wrong. I like that. Not young guys not afraid to call out the future Hall of Famer. They're like, no, this is the protection we needed. This is the right call, and this is what we're doing. And the quarterback respecting his young center enough to go listen to him and find out, yeah, it was the correct thing to do. So I like that. Another like little things like that happen throughout the game that everyone has to be on the same page. Get that shit worked out in camp. I'm liking to see that and how they're all communicating back and forth. And it's just encouraging signs to hear and see.
A couple more things here about some positive notes from the offensive side of the ball, Mike. Cam Hayward makes comment on Aaron Rodgers' cadence. He says Aaron Rodgers' cadence is deadly. It is the thing he does best. He knows how to abuse the play clock. It's ridiculous. So again, more things that I like about Aaron are the things that you're learning that he just knows because he's been there, done that. And this is no different, Mike. His cadence is something that's always been a strength of his. And that, along with the compliment on the center from the quarterback, it seems like, again, this offense, they're really giving each other a reason to believe in one another. One of the notes here is Aaron Rodgers brings a calmness, not only to the offense, to the entire team. So, again, Mike, some of the, the early concerns about Aaron Rodgers, I haven't seen any of them yet. So far, the comparison from the future Hall of Famer that we brought in last year, again, he was pushing sleds. He was injured the whole way through camp. He didn't come in until halfway through the season. So a lot of things about this particular older future Hall of Fame quarterback I like compared to what we've seen from the last future Hall of Fame quarterback that we brought in to save the day.
Right. I'm liking this this version of Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully he can keep these good vibes going all year long, brother.
Absolutely. And one other thing here that Aaron did say that I think people in Pittsburgh are going to like, he did make this comment yesterday as well at training camp. Mike, Pittsburgh is one of the cornerstone franchises in the NFL. It's just different here. Mike, I don't disagree with him one bit. Again, it's just all the good vibe, all the good setting with this Aaron Rodgers. Of course, the results come out on the field. That's what we're going to watch for. But, Mike, everything from Aaron Rodgers is nothing what I lobbied against early on in the whole process of trying to if we were going to bring Aaron Rodgers in or not, if he was holding out, if he was just going to retire. Remember, we didn't hear from him for months. He ends up disappearing. Mike, a lot of reasons, I think, to feel positive and excited about quarterback one this year.
Yeah, I'm pumped and excited. I haven't been this excited since a quarterback play since we had Big Ben in his prime. Aaron Rodgers not in his prime, but I'm excited to see what we have. And reports today out of camp are saying that this is the sharpest he's looked all camp, and he's looking good in the offense. Seems to be catching up with the defense. And I got to step away for a few moments, brother. I'll be back.
All right, man. Another thing that I am seeing here, guys, also about quarterbacks and positive notes. This was from an anonymous assistant coach, so we don't know which assistant coach said this. However, this was quoted by an anonymous assistant coach, Will Howard. This is about Will Howard. I've never seen a quarterback this special. He's going to be the next Big Ben. Whether you believe this, whether you don't, whether that guy was whatever it was. But again, this assistant coach had said, Will Howard, they've never seen a young quarterback this special. He's going to be the next Big Ben. That's encouraging as well, guys. I think it's going to make things complicated to come draft time in April, especially if he comes out and balls out in preseason. It's only preseason, but again, he just won his national championship. If he comes and he balls out in preseason, let's say he gets an opportunity in the season during the season, maybe whatever situation might arise. I do know that Mason Rudolph is the second string quarterback as we speak, but again, he could make things interesting come draft time in April, where we do have 1 million draft picks. It seems like at least 12, I think, when the draft does come to Pittsburgh in April, guys. So again, encouraging stuff that you want to hear. And if that's going to be a problem in the future, this is a good kind of problem that you want to have a good quarterback and trying to figure out if you want another good quarterback and go from there. Definitely different problems than we've been dealing with over the past couple of years. We're kind of starting to look like a competent football team in ways, again, a lot of it thanks to Omar Khan. Of course, he makes the moves he makes we've never seen in Pittsburgh as far as free agency goes. And he ends up coming out yesterday being humble, saying, you know what, I don't consider anything that I do a success until we win a Super Bowl. The fact that he used the S word, that has to get people excited as well, because everything that he's done, all the names that he's brought in here the past 2 seasons is exciting, but he doesn't want it to be looked at as an accomplishment until we win the Super Bowl. I like that. I like that mindset a lot, and you got to like that as your GM, who is trying to build the team to look a lot like that Philadelphia team in the sense of ways of building teams. So I like that a lot. I do have a few cool lists we're going to get into, but Mike, I have to get into some of these messages. I'm getting so far behind here on messages, and I don't want to leave anybody out. All right, I think we're right here. I'm gonna Vegas said Dan's agent didn't even tell Dan about the deal. He just signed it for him as soon as he got it. I think talking about Dan Moore. Tortilla, on the bright side, if he has a good year and we pay him, we could possibly get him cheaper because of his first few years. Talking about Broderick. John says tackles are like quarterbacks. There aren't enough studs to go around. Hence, the average players are still getting banked. RB does say people also need to remember Jones was a 1-year starter. He's still learning and wasn't the only 2021. Wasn't he only 2021 when he was drafted? I do think so. He was really young, yes. Tackles cost last year. They cost the Chiefs. They sure did. Especially the starting left tackle, guys. That is one of the most important positions on the field. Certainly overlooked, but one of the most important.
Quarterback, left tackle, cornerback. Still 3 of the most important positions on the team.
Corey Beaver says as long as our O-line can protect for 3 seconds, then maybe Rodgers' release can counterbalance the potential lack of depth. We haven't had a quick release quarterback in ever. Mark Malone, Frazier, McCormick, Fatano are going to be core pieces. They're supposed to be. You know, that's how we're building the team. And again, you should be able to throw Broderick Jones's name into that because that's where it all started. It started with the Broderick Jones pick in building these interior lines. So for quite some time, Mark Malone says. Donald says if Pat Myers doesn't improve the O-line this season, they should go hire the Eagles assistant O-line coach to replace him. I tell you what, the Eagles, everything they touch is turning to gold.
Right?
And it's such a crap organization that did nothing forever. Now they got this is the difference of building your team right. I mean, look at this team. This team never won a Super Bowl until they upset the Brady and the Patriots, and then they just won again. So they're doing something right. Kenny says edge rushers are getting faster every year, and quarterbacks get sacked. What really matters is having a quarterback who can get rid of the ball fast and accurately. Aaron does that very well. You know what? He does that very well, but taking the hits after he throws is what concerns me about Aaron as well. Because, again, he's not the biggest guy. He's just a very average build guy. And, again, he's going to take shots. Even if he's getting blocked, he's getting good blocking for him. The quarterback's still going to take shots. That's another thing that kind of concerns me from a guy who's closer to 50 than 30. Tortilla says, our O-line should really look good against the Bengals. Me, Mike, and half the board look good against the Bengals.
Our O-line is the shit.
Vegas says, if Russ doesn't push that sled, Fields wouldn't have started any games. And you know what? He started 4-2, so it makes you wonder if Russ was in from day one, would the results, if they have been any different? We'll never know.
Never know.
RB, everyone talks all this shit about Aaron. I've never heard a teammate bitch about him. I've heard nothing but good things from the Pittsburgh Steelers so far about their new teammate, Aaron Rodgers. Like, not one person has anything. Matter of fact, the people that did have bad things to say about him are now saying the good things about him and apologizing and calling themselves trolls and everything else because they're finding out that he is a pretty good teammate.
Yeah, you can be a good teammate, say some weird shit outside of work, but as long as you do your job and treat me right as in our work environment, you do whatever the fuck you want, brother. As long as we meet our goal, and that goal is winning games. As long as you win games, that's all the players should care about.
I don't know where you went, Mike. I don't see you anymore. I hear you.
You hear me? You can't see me? This
RB
camera's
says-
giving me some problems. I'll be back.
RB says, Ryan, that story originated from Facebook site known for printing BS for clicks. Same place who announced that we trade. Wait, what did that? I'm sorry. What was it? What did I say that you were referring to? I sometimes I don't retain. I apologize. If you could just update me on that real quick, RB, and then I could respectfully comment back on that. Guys, a couple of things I also do want to get into, Mike. This is some interesting lists I do have here. This is about our Pittsburgh Steelers. This is the top players 30 or older list in the league, Mike. Top players in the league 30 or older. Give me a moment to just pull it up. Number one on the list, guys. Number one on the list of top players in the NFL, according to NFL on CBS, is number one, 30-year-old TJ Watt. Number two, Lane Johnson for the Eagles at 35. Derrick Henry, number three. At 31 years old for the Ravens, of course. George Kittle, number 4 at 31 years old. And number 5, Trey Hendrickson at 30 years old. So say what you want about TJ being, some of our guys getting up over it. And don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers being 42 years old is obviously its own thing. But as far as guys over 30, are the number one guy in the league, TJ Watt. Let me continue on. Number 6 is Chris Jones at 31 years old. Tyreek Hill, 31 years old. Jared Goff, 30. Joe Tooney, 32. And coming in at number 10, Mike, at 36 years old, is Cam Hayward. Cam Hayward does round out the top 10 to Pittsburgh Steelers amongst the top players 30 and older. And as you're looking at this list, these guys are all pretty much guys that I would take on my team and still pretty much in their prime, Mike, it being 30 plus at this point, Mike. Again, the top 10, all pretty impressive players. Chris Jones, Tyreek Hill, Trey Hendrickson, George Kittle, Derrick Henry. You take any of these guys on your squad. Let me continue on. Number 11, Daniel Hunter. He's at 30 years old. Matthew Stafford, 37 years old. Trent Williams, 37 years old in San Francisco. Leonard Williams, 31 in Seattle. Baker Mayfield, he's 30 years old already.
Damn.
That's the first 15 people, Mike, on the top 30 NFL players age 30 and older. Bobby Wagner comes in number 16 at 35 years old. Kyle Juszczyk, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. San Francisco, 34 years old, next on the list. Andrew Van Ginkel, number 30 years old, number 18. Laramie Tunsil from Washington, 30 years old. Devontae Adams, 32 years old, comes at number 20. Travis Kelce somehow below Devontae Adams. Mike, he's 35 years old at 21. Jalen Ramsey, the third Steeler on the list, at 30 years old, comes in at number 22. Levante David at 35. Vita Vea from Tampa Bay at 30 years old. Mike Evans at 31 years old. Coming in at number 26, Mike. Players, top 30 NFL players age 30 or older. Darius Slay. 34 years old, Mike. He comes in at number 26. Brandon Aubrey from Dallas. I think he's the kicker down there. Aaron Jones in Minnesota. They're both 30 years old. Harrison Smith, 36, and Calvin Ridley in Tennessee. Mike, 30 years old. So, again, say what you want about the guys aging. I guess a lot of these guys are still in their prime. Still
some really good players on that list.
Making a lot of big plays on their team. So, again, we have 4. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I think
you're right. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, yeah, man, we got guys on this list. Is that good or bad?
I think that's a good thing.
They're still productive players. So that's a good
listen. If they were over 30 and they weren't on this list, maybe that's when we'd be concerned.
And that's when I'd be worried. And like Vegas and I had the same exact thought. Cam is going to have a problem with this list. He's going to be bitching,
Oh, you
why isn't
think?
he number one?
Right.
Or at least number two, brother.
Yeah. And I do have another list. Just give me a moment to pull it up, Mike. I think this is also a good one because it's contrary to.
Excuse me.
I don't have a list, but this is okay. So this is the Steelers. I'm not going to go through the whole list. This is the top. This is the top teams all the way 1 through 32 with players under 25.
Okay.
Where does the Pittsburgh Steelers fall in the list of 1 to 32 with guys under 25 years old, Mike? We just saw that we have mad players that are over 30. Mike, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are ranked 27 out of 32 with their players 25 and younger.
Oof.
Players that are mentionable in the blue chip players that are marked in this are Zach Frazier and Broderick Jones. The notable players are Joey Porter Jr., Mason McCormick, Troy Fatano. Again, we still haven't really seen much of him, Mike. And again, these rookies, Derek Harmon, Caleb Johnson, and Nick Herbig also kind of coming in as honorable mention. But again, Mike, 27 out of 32 when it comes to teams in their players 25 and younger.
If we had a quarterback on that list, or had a quarterback who was 25 and under that was a starter, I think we'd be much higher, because like Herbig only being an honorable mention, the way Logan Wilson played last year being an honorable mention. I think with a good young quarterback on this team, that list, these guys would be perceived different. Our depth would be perceived different, and we'd be higher on the list, because those are some guys that have made impactful plays in a short amount of time in the league with Herbig and Wilson. And, you know, how Broderick Jones rated higher than Fatano, and it's weird list, but I see where they're coming from in that ranking, because a lot of these guys, you know, they're still unproven. We think highly of them because we see what some of these cats have done. They got to be able to do it a little bit longer term. But I like the guys we have on our team,
the Howard story. You know what? Despite that being said, he's having a great camp, and he looks very good for a rookie, is what I'm hearing. Not something that you see very much in being successful in the pros, Mike, is guys that win the national championship in college, having a successful pro career. So again, that will be something that we'll certainly will be forced to follow here as Steeler fans as time goes on. But again, the draft coming in April makes that interesting. Any way you slice it, we will get a look at Will Howard. And I think we'll get a look at him in abundance, Mike, because again, Aaron Rodgers not going to play a lot of preseason. Skylar Thompson, he's your tail end guy, and the other two guys I imagine are going to get a majority of the playing time in preseason, talking about Mason Rudolph and Will Howard. So I think we learn a lot about Will Howard in the next month here leading up to regular season. I'm going to go over here to Vegas. Vegas says Cam is going to, okay, that's what you had said. Cam is going to have a problem with that list. Cam has a problem with any list where he's not on top of it.
Exactly.
Vegas, crazy how Mahomes, Lamar, and Allen aren't even 30 yet. Patrick will be 30 on just the season starting right there mid-September.
That's nuts that they're just now, that group is just now turning 30.
Corey says, I don't care if you're 25, 30, 35, or 65. If you're injury prone, then you're a liability. As long as our old guys stay healthy, then I don't care how old they are. Vegas says Cam will be mad at this list too, saying he identifies as under 25. I like that. And then Kenneth says Howard is connecting for touchdowns right now with limited chances. So many seem scared to say and see that Will is a playmaker, and I don't understand the disrespect he has gotten while winning.
He's winning me over big time. The way he's performing in camp.
He's certainly, yes. He's his performance in camp so far is winning. I haven't heard many negative things. I'll just put it that way. Injuries, Mike. Of course, we do know this. I'm sorry, Ciamalo is back as of this morning, but we did lose defensive end Asezi Atumiu, Mike, who probably isn't going to be on this team. We did lose him yesterday as he was taken off the field on a cart.
It's never good. Was he carted off or riding in the cart? I need the distinction, but it's never good when you you think the worst when you hear the cart come out.
Absolutely. If you can't come off on your own power, it's not a good
Yeah.
thing. But that tells me this gentleman that I'm not real familiar with anyway will probably not be on this team much longer, Mike. So, guys, this is what we have up to the moment on all of the Pittsburgh training camp scoop. Mike, is there anything that I missed? Is there anything that you found along the way? I know that you keep your eye on the running news as the show's going on. Anything that I'm missing out on that's of any significance that we might want to include today?
No, we covered it all. I sprinkled in some of the stuff that I saw that I thought was pertinent to bring up. The guys on the boards were getting it too. But yeah, like it's looking like the offense is rounding into form. Roman Wilson was out there making some good catches today, and so that's encouraging to see. I think we got it all from camp that was happening. I think camp practice might have just wound down.
Yes.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it just ended a little bit ago. So yeah. No, it sounded like it was a good day. It was a feisty day too. They're out there with the helmets on, no pads, but guys were getting chippy.
I gotta be honest, Mike.
Chuck Clark, he's getting
footage I'm seeing yesterday where they had pads on. These guys were waiting. They couldn't wait to start hitting.
Wait to beat the shit out of each other.
I seen so many guys get hit yesterday. I loved it, man. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Do stick around, guys. We do have as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a fun trivia question. I have to get through this, and only listen. It's not going to be much longer, but the only reason I have to touch on this, Mike, is because this baseball team in Pittsburgh is on a 5-game winning streak, and they did win 8 of their last 9 baseball games. So the only reason I do have to bring this up. What's up, P Breezy? Effing on the board. Always great seeing you, man. Welcome. Just to kind of do this before we wrap it up, Mike, the Pirates they swept the Giants. Again, this is the Pirates, this team that everyone just knows is a bad team. They sweep the Giants. They win 5 in a row. They win 8 of their last 9. Mike, they have today off. They start a series against the Colorado Rockies, who is the worst team in the league. So if anything, that we learn in the past, we'll probably lose to these guys. But if we can put it together, Mike, and get 3 more wins. Right now, the Pirates are 47-62. If they can win these 3 games against Colorado, which again is a big if, they could be sitting at 50-62, Mike, just 12 games under 500 for this Pittsburgh Pirates team. I think that's a bit of an accomplishment, Mike. The big news in baseball here, Ke'Bryan Hayes does get traded away to the Cincinnati Reds yesterday. Today at 6:00 p.m. is the trade deadline. So names like IKF, David Bednar, Mitch Keller, they all have been rumored as being targets by teams like the Yankees and such. So let's just we'll continue to follow that. Again, Mike, I want to hate them, but they're winning.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. They're just going to keep giving away good players to the good teams, getting nothing back. It's just this vicious cycle that the Pirates do. We've been doing it for 30 years here. It's nothing new. Again, there's just they give you just enough to keep you want to stay interested. We want a good team. We're not going to get it, obviously, not under this ownership, Mike. But again, trade deadline is this afternoon. We'll see if any other big names move. Besides for that, the Pirates did complete the sweep yesterday over the Giants in San Francisco with a 2-1 win in 10 innings. Day off today. They start at Colorado tomorrow. Again, the Pirates 47-62. 8 of their last 9 games were wins, 5-game winning streak. They sweep the Giants on the road. This is what makes it hard to hate the Pirates because they give you just enough. They give you just enough, and then they take it all away. So that's where we're at with this team, Mike. Traded Hayes for supposable top 10. And that's the thing. This team just they don't handle anything right. They get all these prospects, and then these prospects don't turn it into shit. And then the good prospects we do have, they end up sending elsewhere anyway when they get good. It's a vicious cycle. The Pirates guys, if you're not into them, save your time. But if you are, that's why it's so frustrating.
He wasn't a top 10 prospect. He was a Reds top 10 prospect. So he's not even in the top 100 for MLB prospects. He was one of their top 10 prospects, which it looks like he can't hit. We just traded a guy who can't hit.
Yeah. Let's talk about other hitting. This hitting
is just so fucking frustrating.
Nobody wants to hear this.
I hate
we do, but that is, guys, that's the Pirates, blah, blah, blah. Take it or leave it. Again, they be what they be. Mike, why don't you tell us about the website?
The twodumbyinzers.com. Check it out, everyone, especially if you're all new here. Check it out. Ryan and I social media links are all over the website. We got the merch store where, remember Ryan's catchphrase, listen, and go catch that merch over there. That is a sharp shirt. Don't forget to, man. Bob Nothing to you over there to celebrate Buckos collapsing and selling away. And we got the dumb thoughts all over at the TwoDumbYinzers.com.
Vegas, not only they threw the 3 shutouts and then got shut out 3 in a row, this team has the second most amount of shutouts in the league. This team is shut out. This team is only 4 games away from having the most shutouts, either win or lost in a season ever. I think the Cubs did it back in the early 1900s. If the Pirates are involved in 4 more shutouts, they're involved in 27 so far. 31's the record. 4 more, they tie all time for shutouts, either win or lost. This team is so schizophrenic. It ain't even funny. I mean, we talk about bipolar with the football team. This baseball team is the most bipolar team I've ever seen in my life. Mike, again, they do record-breaking shit constantly, but it's the weirdest record-breaking shit I've ever seen in my life. Again, entertaining to say the least. If you're hoping for a good sports team, a good baseball team to follow and support, this is not the team to do that for.
No, it is not.
I mean, if you're gonna bet against them, maybe that's a good thing to do. But I wouldn't put any money on this baseball team. Like, they won 8 of 9. You'd think that they would win some games against Colorado, being they're the worst team. You would lose all your money this weekend. I promise you.
You would too. This team is god awful.
Also, Vegas says, I want one of those mega rich people to buy the team and do everything to win. Unlike that's exactly the team that it's almost like you have to try to do what we've done over the past 30 years. You really do. It's unbelievable.
You do.
All right, guys, let me pull up my question of the day. Mike, I do have a question of the day I did bring up earlier. I mentioned briefly. If I can just find it, we will get into that. But again, what's up?
I was like, you. I thought I lost you for a second.
No, I am having trouble finding it. Don't forget, guys, we do have Derpy tomorrow. Derpy getting ready to go to camp. Derpy's heading up to Steeler camp on Saturday. Derpy will be up by tomorrow to get prepared. We'll get you all ready for that. If I could ever find. There it is. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready, brother.
Which Pittsburgh, this person from Pittsburgh, Mike, this person from Pittsburgh, tell me who it is. This was a player for the North Carolina State football team. This player had two games where he recorded 24 tackles a game while he was there. This player leads the Wolfpack for tackles in a season. Nobody's had more tackles than him in a season. In his season, he had 195, and he's currently 8th in team history with tackles. Mike, which Pittsburgher am I talking about? This Pittsburgher in North Carolina State had 2 games where he recorded 24 tackles. This Pittsburgher also holds the single season mark for the Wolfpack with 195 tackles. Nobody has more. And finally, he's also 8th in the team history in tackles. Mike, who is this Pittsburgher? Before you answer, RB is saying Bill Cowher. That's a good pick, guys. But think that over for just a moment. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. Richard's saying Kevin Green. Question of the day: Which Pittsburgher played for North Carolina State? He recorded 24 tackles in a game 2 times in his career there. He also holds the single season mark for the Wolfpack for tackles in a season with 195. Nobody's ever had more. And he's the 8th in team history in tackles. Mike, again, on the board, we have a couple of different answers. We have Bill Cowher. We have Kevin Green. Mike, who was it?
I'm going Bill Cowher. That was the first name that popped into my head, and I'm sticking with it.
So you're saying not only could he coach defense, the guy could play defense too. Mike, Bill Cowher, is this your final answer?
Final answer.
All right, I'm going to lock you in on Bill Cowher. RB also saying Bill Cowher on the board. Kevin Green. Guys, get out. Vegas is saying who's 8th in sacks in UNLV history is Suge Knight. That is wild. Again, guys, which Pittsburgher, this gentleman from Pittsburgh, while playing college at North Carolina State, recorded 2 games having 24 tackles in those two different games. Also, he holds the single season mark for the Wolfpack with for tackles in a season with 195. Nobody's had more. And again, 8th all time in team history with tackles. Mike's saying Bill Cowher, Kevin Green. Guys, the final answer on that. The correct answer, of course, is Bill Cowher. How you can't like this guy? I don't know. I don't know what people's problems is. He's a Pittsburgher. He was great in college. He was a successful coach. I love Coach Cowher, guys. I love all of our coaches. Don't get me wrong. But there you go. Coach Cowher did those things. Like 24 tackles in a game. He did that 2 different times.
That's nuts.
He did it against Clemson and against South Carolina.
Was being around. That's a nose for the football, boys.
Absolutely. My man knows his football. No two ways about that, Mike. A couple of things before we do get ready to wrap it up for the day. I do have one thing I do want to say that I was going to talk about at the top of the show, but I said that I would wait. Mike, this is something that kind of caught my eye. I brought this up at the beginning of the show the other day. This is a Harvard professor, Avi Loeb. Avi Loeb, this Harvard professor says, remember I brought up this object that's supposed to hit us in November. Somehow they could figure that out, that this thing isn't going to go off course. It's going to stay straight, and they have the amount of time. Anyway, this Harvard professor, Avi Loeb, says we should put all possibilities on the table, that it's a rocket, it is a rock, a comet, or something else, until we get the evidence, the data that will tell us what it is. Guys, what do you think? What do you think is going to be hitting us in November this year? And is it going to hit us, Mike? Is it going to stay on course? Because somehow they can tell that whatever it is flying, and it's going to be right on course in November, and it's going to hit us. Again, I'm the conspiracy theory guy. I just want to know what the logical answer is out here. I want to know what the regulars think. Mike, what is this thing that's going to be hitting us in November? And do you think it will hit us in November?
It probably won't. The gravitational forces and spinning of the universe and the ever-expanding universe.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They have it down to a day. Come on. This is what they're saying in Harvard.
The math is mathing, but I'm hoping it's a probe. I hope it's a probe from an alien civilization.
Again, is the math, and I don't know. That's what they're telling us, so we think that that's what the math is mathing. We don't know what it is. Again, this Harvard professor, Avi Loeb, Mike says it could be a rock, a comet, or something else. We just have no idea what this is moving at us. It's going to hit us in November, according to Harvard professor.
Dude, it could be a stray planet coming flying towards us.
It could be.
Good thing we got Jupiter out there that, its gravitational pull gets a bunch of shit in there. It's our left tackle out there. Hopefully Jupiter's not on a Roger Jones type day.
That's what I'm saying, Vegas. Who knows what the hell is going on out there? He says it's the aliens coming to get paid for appearing on Independence
Day. They want their motherfucking movie check.
And RB does say Bill Cowher was Peyton Wilson's mentor at NC State. I love Coach Cowher. How can you not like the guy? Again, he's from Pittsburgh. That's good enough for me, guys. Mike, anything before we do start getting ready to wrap things up for the day?
Can the fucking season get here already? I'm ready to.
Well, tonight, guys, you don't have to wait much longer. You don't. You asked Mike, and you got it. That's right. Tonight, the Hall of Fame game, 8:00 tonight. The Chargers and the Lions in Canton, Ohio. We'll be watching NFL tonight. We'll make sure we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. We're going to be talking about camp, how things went today. We're going to be talking about camp tomorrow, heading into the weekend. Mike, and even maybe we might sneak something in at the very end about this red-hot Pittsburgh Pirate team, which I don't want to do, believe me. But again, they kind of keep pulling me in little by little, and then they disappoint me every time. So tune in tomorrow, guys. We have a lot of stuff heading into the weekend. Also, Derpy. We're expecting Derpy by tomorrow as we get ready to send him to camp. That's right. We're sending our little Derpy to camp. He's going to be gone out on his own for the first time without us. We're sending our little Derpy to camp, guys. Again, tomorrow, you want to catch that. And also, we're going to be getting ready for the Gooners to come back. 3 Gooners tomorrow night, 9:30, as Finch, Tim, and Ryan, they get ready to come back after the little hiatus, Mike. They're coming back strong. That's right. They are coming back strong, and I can't wait. They make me laugh every time. Again, that's the 3 Gooners tomorrow. Also, if you haven't had a chance, go check out some of our social media. We are all over social media. We are on Facebook. We are on X, formerly known as Twitter. We are on Instagram, Threads, wherever you go. If you come across our names, hit the like button, hit the follow button. Be great to see you. And then also, Mike, if you had not had a chance, do hit the like and subscribe right below. That certainly helps us out a lot. We certainly appreciate that. But I do want to say thank you to everybody today. I want to say thank you to everybody for checking us out and hanging out with us today. We appreciate each and every one of you. We certainly we couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you, everybody on the board. I want to say thank you to the newcomers.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, I do want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you so much. You guys always keep things interesting on the show. Everybody that's at home, maybe listening in your earbuds, exercising at the gym, at work, wherever you may be. You may be even watching on your big screen TV. We thank you too, guys. I hope everybody has a great NFL Hall of Fame game day. Again, as the Lions and Chargers go at it tonight at 8 o'clock in Canton, Ohio. It all starts, Mike, after this game. We won't have – it's going to be quite some time. There's going to be a week where there's no NFL football. We live for it. We love this stuff, and we know everybody that tunes into the show does too. Mike, what do you got, man? Anything before we get ready to drop?
I got nothing. I just did check the Twitter machine. There's no new updates, but thank you, everyone, for tuning in, man. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, everybody. Thank you. The Pirates are off today, so you don't have to worry about that, if anybody is. But, yes, guys, we'll be back tomorrow, first thing at our regular time. Make sure to join us then. Getting ready to head into the weekend with a lot of stuff we're going to be talking about, guys. And, again, getting our little derpy ready for camp, so you're not going to want to miss that.
Like sending your kid off to camp, brother.
It is like sending our kid off to camp.
You're happy he's going, but you're nervous. The little fella's going to be scared.
Exactly. But we'll see everybody tomorrow at our regular time. We hope everybody has a great Thursday. Enjoy your NFL football tonight. I know I sure will. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about that and a lot more. For Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, for myself, the two-time